There were two rules growing up. She said, I forgot the second rule. No!
Raghav.
Come on!
Hey guys, this is Raghav, and Raghav, we're in Augustana University, and then this is a very nice, amazing guy, and we're here to tell about his story. So Raghav, tell me about yourself, a bit about yourself, and for your audience.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm very glad to be here. And my story, if you ask me about myself, I'm a sophomore here at Augustana University. And to give you a general rundown, I'm from India. That was we should start off the international podcast saying
yes, India.
the location. Yeah, I'm from India, but growing up, I've been moving around a lot, even through India.
Okay, so you've been, like you said, you're a sophomore here. So how was adjustment? Like, did you go through the five stages of griefs, denial and stuff?
So when we had the cultural shock session,
we had a
even the word cultural shock, I think I've been very fortunate. I never had a cultural shock. I had more of a cultural fascination when I came in.
You were obsessed.
No, it wasn't that. I came in and there were so many wonderful things that were here. It's like don't they say this, that take the good from everywhere.
Yes.
So I do. It's not that I neglect what I've grown up with. I still hold on to most of it.
Yeah. What's challenges maybe?
I would say it's very easy to get lonely.
Okay.
It's very easy to get lonely. I would, you could argue it's true for everybody who enters college, but I think it's very, you as an international student, you can't physically meet somebody to, console and get that off. You can't be like, hey, I'm just going to drive home and, just take a break. You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's fair, but I think that was important because it's important to build that community around you.
Yeah, I think,
in college.
People around you kind of makes you, I know, right? Just a certain feeling I can't describe.
Correct. So it's building that, and I've seen that you've done that, and most people here have done that, and that's a good thing. It makes me very happy when you have those people around you, because they kind of are your support system, more or less.
Yeah.
And another, I don't know, this is kind of meant into culture shock and challenge. This is more or less, I would say, to anybody who enters college as a young teenager or in their 20s, is everything that you've believed for the first 20 years of your life, most of the things, not everything, most of your foundations will be challenged. Be challenged because you're traveling abroad and it's a completely
new environment. Is there any person that influenced you a lot? You say there's a lot of influence when you came here, I mean. Is there a single person? You don't have to say the name or anything. It can be anonymous, but there's
No, I can name him. This is one person who absolutely changed my life.
Oh.
And I can confidently say that looking back. So I came in. This is a fun story.
Okay.
So, and if you're a college student, and anybody who's been to college will probably know this.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, and I didn't get to the US till my spring break of my freshman year. So I missed the fall break. Semester, sorry.
Yeah.
Spring semester and fall semester. I missed the first semester because of COVID. I couldn't get my visa to fly in. And
it's just a struggle.
It was, and I was just happy to be here when I came in.
Yeah.
So when I did come in, and when I was registering for classes for my spring semester, I didn't know the difference between 100, 200, 300 level classes. I didn't know.
Okay.
I was registering for classes and I was looking at all the registrations. There was general psychology, general physics. I was like, they're all too general. That's one thing interesting, right? And there was this one class that was Oceans, Ethics and Sustainability. And I was like, ooh, I could do that class. That was exciting.
Was it a 200 or a 300?
We'll get to that. And I emailed my advisor saying, hey, I want to get into this class. And she was very kind to tell me no. So she said, no, let me talk to the professor. He's a fun guy. You like him. and maybe he will find a spot for you.
Mm.
And half an hour later, I get an email saying, "You're in."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Whoa, okay."
Good.
I forget about this. 2 months later, I fly into the US, and first day of class, I go into this class, and there's just 6 people,
What?
and they're all seniors. And the professor walks in and is like, "Hey, welcome to the senior seminar in philosophy." It was a philosophy 303 class. Everybody, it was like the last class you'll take before graduating.
You're like, what's going on?
But honestly, that's been one of the best classes I've ever taken.
Really?
Because 2 months later, I had a philosophy major,
Mm.
and 6 months later, I traveled to Alaska
Okay.
with that professor. A
Ooh.
group of 15 students, and we
Really?
were out there for 3 weeks, doing nature writing and environmental philosophy, and it was and that trip has absolutely changed the course of my life. The person, Dr. David O'Hara, the
Mm.
professor of philosophy, religion, classics, environmental studies, does everything. He's just amazing. He's like a big mentor in my life, and
Mm.
I'm very grateful for him. And he's absolutely, I mean, if you have a conversation with him, you will know what I'm
understand
talking
what
about.
you're saying.
Absolutely. I hope that answers
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
question. Yeah.
But have you gone back to India after that? Like, since now, right?
Not
you,
yet.
didn't, you didn't get the chance.
I didn't get the chance.
Do you think that there would be like something? You'd be like, is this how everything was? Do you think you'll get?
It's funny. I think it was 2 days ago when I was just thinking about it. I was, like,
Really?
I was thinking about, because it was me and a couple of environmental
Mm.
studies students. We were all sitting together and talking about what sustainability means and how, let's not waste food, let's not stop using plastic bags, and
Yeah.
what can we use. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait, if most of stuff that we're talking about right now, if I'd go back to India and talk about it, people would look at me as crazy. They'd be like, what are you talking about? Come on. And I was
I
like,
mean,
okay.
There's more underlying problems first that needs to be
Correct.
solved before we go to sustainability. I guess that's
Right. So
that might
people's
be
problems are different.
yeah.
That's again understanding. When you come here, you understand that people value something more than others because they don't have to worry about something else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So-
That's I think that's one of the things that I also learned when I came here first time. Of like, this is completely different.
That's true.
But is there like any important story from like throughout your life that was important to you that you could share with us? Important to you, like any part.
Okay. This is a story that I don't usually share openly.
Exclusive.
Because this is like a statement that I'm making. It's like a live statement that I'm
Okay.
making. Because so growing up, my mom's been a big influence in my life. Everything that I am and will ever be is because of her. And
Nice.
I hope she's done a good job. You guys can.
Yeah,
you guys
she
can be the
did
judge.
an amazing job.
So she's always, there were 2 rules growing up. She said, I forgot the second rule. It's bad. I hope she's not watching this. Yeah. No, but there's one rule. This is a very funny rule. This kind of gave me an emphasis on the role of money. Simple things. How can you teach? I've thought about this. I don't know. I love babies. And so I've always thought, hey, if I have to, I've learned this. If I had to pass it on to my children, how will I teach it to them?
Yeah.
And money is a concept that, we say, hey, value, we have to learn to value
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
But what does it mean to value money? How can you pass that on? So my mom, growing up, she had this one rule.
What's that?
If you're buying food, I would never ask you how much it costs. If it's good food that you can eat and taste and enjoy, I'll buy it for you. But if I'm getting a little toy, like a toy for
Okay.
$1, she would ask me, hey, what are you going to do with this?
Okay.
How long are you going to play with this? And she'll make sure I don't buy it and question myself at least.
So
buying
like
it.
for the important stuff, she's
Yeah.
like, no problem.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
But for like the not quite important stuff, you're
Correct,
like,
correct.
do you really need it?
No, I spent $15 on an ice cream because of that. But I would.
Okay, I mean.
But I would think about buying a $5 phone case. I'm
Then
like,
you'd be
does
like-
my phone really need a case?
Yeah,
So
no.
things like that. And right before I left, I don't know how this fits into this conversation,
Continue, don't worry.
but I was at the airport. And nobody was crying. They were all happy. I was leaving. I don't know. Nobody was crying. I think we had cried for a week, and then they were finally like, it's time for you to leave. We've cried enough. Can't cry for you. Right before leaving, she said, hey, I honestly don't care what you do with your life. Because whatever you do, I know you'll find a way. But then all I want from you is to be a good human being.
That's amazing.
And I've tried to define that for myself. I'm still doing that. I'm still in the process of doing that, and that's very important to me. When I go back, that's the story.
That's like the most what a parent can do for a kid is like just be a good
Absolutely.
person.
I,
No expectation, be a good person.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for listening. This has been recorded now, so now it's however I turn up in 10 years, you can replay this.
Well, don't worry, we'll ask you that.
have you? Yeah, are you a good human being?
But one thing that I've noticed when I first met you is like, wow, Raghav, you're the most friendliest person I know.
That's
You're
enough
like,
to say.
like from the far, you're like, I'm like, wow, this guy's. How do you do that? Like, how?
I absolutely love meeting people, meeting new people. I when I travel, I say because when you're traveling, you meet people, and there's a good chance you might never see them again. So I say I meet stories.
Yeah.
When I'm traveling, I'm meeting stories. But even now, when I'm meeting somebody, I'm meeting a story, and I'm trying to. I love what you're doing here. When I said sharing the stories of others,
Yeah.
I think it's important. Everybody has a story, and usually, again, this is again a college international student thing.
Yeah.
When you look
we
at somebody,
do, yeah.
you look at one layer, and you assume so many things about them. When you meet somebody for the first time, you look at them, and you assume so many things about, and you can do that to anybody else. But you don't understand, as human beings, you have so many layers, there's so many multitudes to our personality.
And that's why you want to know, and that's why you're friendly and you want to know people.
Yeah, I'm trying to steal their story. But I think everybody has a story that needs to be told. So I just tap into it, and I get a lot of energy from people. I'm a big extrovert. I don't know how the science works, but I love being around people. I just love. I get a lot of energy.
I can definitely testify to that.
So I love doing that. I love waving from across campus. Seeing people like, hey!
Everyone's like, oh, that's Raghav. waving.
Waving from a tree or running around. And,
Oh my
I
God.
love doing that, absolutely.
But like you feel like you're always smiling, but like how do you handle stress? I bet you, as any human, handle stress or feel stress. But how do you handle it?
I think I think it's very important for me to define what stresses me. If it's homework, I don't think it's worth it.
It's not
So-
worth your time.
Absolutely. So certain things. Yeah. Do you have a particular situation?
Oh, that's putting me on
No,
spot.
the thing is, I can very well control how I feel. I can convince myself to not
like
be
something
stressed about
that
it.
defines like I saw one or two options, but could define what you do for the rest of it, or like maybe for the next month or
Yeah.
year or.
It's
That
so funny
one.
was that I'm in that kind of a situation right now, and I think that's every day. Every single thing you do, kind of has an effect on everything else that you'll do. But I think it's important to live a life of judgment.
What do you mean?
Somebody told me this. I don't remember that person. He told me this. He said, live a life of judgment. When you're doing something, ask yourself if that's the right thing to do. If it was a good thing to do. If it was the best thing you could have done for that day. And I think that is very important. And if you do that, even if it doesn't work out,
At least you chose and you just went on.
yeah, it's like a similar situation. This is an example from India, more or less. In India, this is again controversial for me to say, but people value science over the humanities.
Okay.
When you're studying, when you're
Yeah,
actually studying,
yeah.
they're like, if you're doing humanities, you can just stay at home. Why are you even going to college? Why am I paying for it? And I'm a humanities major as well. I have a philosophy major under me, so
Yeah.
I'm saying this out.
You did.
So, I'm just putting myself on the spot, but they say, don't do that. Do this, it'll be worth it. But let's say somebody does take a path saying, hey, no, I want to do this. And they go out there and they fail. They'll still be able to live with that because they made
I
that
think so
decision.
too. I think that like regret is like the worst thing.
Yeah.
If at the end of the day you're like, I wish I did that, you can never get that back.
Absolutely.
And I do believe having no regrets should be like your goal.
I believe should never regret not taking a chance.
That's a quote of the day.
No.
Would that be like, I was gonna ask you like, do you have one quote to share? I guess.
One quote to share. I have a lot. Yeah. Do you want to listen to the quote of the day for today?
What is it?
Today's quote is, no matter, a lot of people have heard it outside, so I'm just repeating again. No matter what happens, believe in love and magic.
The love of magic.
Love and magic. Life is this weird magical coincidence.
Okay.
But there's this story. Can I share quickly?
Go.
Do we have time? We're running out of time. We should cut this.
Okay, go, continue.
No,
Go,
it's okay.
go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
Go
Go for
for
it.
it.
No.
No, go for
Go
it.
for it. No.
Raghav.
Alright, come on. No. Next question.
No, don't worry. Go for
No,
it.
no.
Don't worry. People are here to know about you, Raghav. Continue.
Okay. This is kind of goes back to helping people. I was 10 years old. Okay. I was 10 years old. This family friend of ours walks up to me and like, hey, what do you want to do with your life? I'm like, what? It's a 10-year-old kid. Don't stop asking him questions like that. A 10-year-old Raghav said, I want to help people. And I'm so proud of that 10-year-old Raghav. Oh my God. Of all the things he could have said, he said that. But this person, who was older and is much well-to-do, he sat me down for 40 minutes. He tried to explain to me, hey, you got to get a job, you got to provide for your family, and then you can help people later on. And thankfully, I was a really distracted kid. I didn't pay any attention to what he said. I'm so glad I did. Because going back now, I think it was this past summer when this story came back to me. I was it's still with me. I still want to do that.
I mean, well, it's like this. Like when you live your life, even in the little things, you can help people. Even the tiniest things. You don't have to be like, oh, you changed my life, Raghav. Oh,
yeah.
But even the tiniest thing, people remember.
Absolutely.
And you could do your best you could.
You could just be paying for the coffee, paying for the drink for the next person.
Yeah, that does make a difference.
Absolutely.
And that's true. I'm glad you did share that. And now it's time for the quick questions.
Is it like rapid fire?
So it's going to be rapid fire. You only choose like one. Like you're only going to like answer once, and don't think about it. Just answer, and then that's it.
I love this.
One bad habit you have.
I eat a lot.
Work hard or work smart?
A little bit of both.
Okay. Promise to yourself that you have not done yet.
That I'll choose to love the world a little more than I should.
That's amazing. Okay. Historical person you want to meet? Right?
No, he's alive now.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey.
I wish I did.
He's an actor. Interstellar. Have you watched Interstellar?
I've heard about Interstellar. I want to watch it. I will.
Cool.
Okay. If all your memories had gone, what would be the last one you want to keep, or the one you want to keep?
The last memory.
Your last memory?
Yeah. Whatever it is, I'll take it. I'll live with it. Whatever it is.
And what advice would you give your 15-year-old self?
15-year-old self? Keep going, buddy.
Keep going. Keep going for
the great things, magical things waiting for you. Keep going.
Thank you, Raghav, for coming here, for having the most amazing podcast.
It is the most amazing podcast.
This is my first time, and it's so amazing to talk to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, and tune for the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Thank you for having me over.